In the quiet corners of Japan, beyond city streets and the hum of daily life, there exists a world most refuse to see. A world where the shadows move differently, where the ordinary becomes frighteningly alive. Tonight we follow three spirits, each a whisper of old legends, each a test of courage. The one-eyed hand spirit, lurking in abandoned factories, watching, waiting, its strange gaze following every movement. The Akaname, the bathhouse licker, slinking through steaming water and damp tiles, unseen yet ever present, cleaning the filth of the careless or punishing those who linger too long. The Karakasa-kozō, the mischievous umbrella spirit, hopping along rainy streets and dark alleys, playful yet unnerving, always ready to startle the unwary. Four explorers will venture into darkness, armed with nothing but courage, flashlights, and the hope that some legends are only stories. Tonight, they will discover they are not alone. It began like any other evening. Mika and Aya were scrolling through online forum posts, sipping tea in Aya's small apartment. One message caught their attention.
Someone says they saw a single foot, just one, moving inside the old warehouse near the river.
1 foot? Are they joking, or is it really something strange?
Only one way to find out carefully.
They packed their gear. Flashlights, camera, audio recorder. Batteries were checked, tripod set. The task seemed simple, but a small knot of unease settled in their stomachs.
Last time we chased something in the old school, I almost fainted. This time, let's just observe first.
Stick together, camera rolling. Don't imagine things, hopefully.
Hours later, they arrived at the warehouse. From outside, it looked abandoned but imposing. Rusted, corrugated walls, broken windows, and crates scattered across the yard. The single light from a distant street lamp barely touched the entrance.
Do you see that behind the crates?
Yeah, a movement. Something small, red. Could it be the foot they mentioned?
The girls carefully approached. Shadows shifted, crates creaked. For a moment, they thought it might be a ghost. The foot moved strangely, and the faint outline of a small red object flickered in the corner of the camera.
Camera on, steady. Let's see if it moves again.
Don't get too close. If it's real, we need proof, not trouble.
Despite their nerves, they backed away carefully, retreating from the shadowy corner. Later, at home, they reviewed the footage, and what had seemed like a ghost in the moment now appeared clearly. A tiny figure, with a red umbrella and a single visible foot.
That's not a ghost. Look at it closely.
It's some kind of little creature? Maybe folklore we need to check.
What they had stumbled upon was no ordinary spirit. With the footage in hand, the investigation would continue, unraveling a story rooted deep in old Japanese folklore. The next morning, Mika and Aya returned home, exhausted but curious. Before reviewing their footage, they decided to check local news and forums. Maybe someone had reported something unusual near the warehouse.
Wait, Mika, look at this article.
Abandoned warehouse near river body discovered apparent homicide investigation ongoing.
The article described a murder scene, a victim found near crates in the old warehouse. The timestamp coincided almost exactly with where they had been filming.
So the thing we saw, could it have been a person?
No, the footage, its tiny red umbrella, definitely not human, but someone else could be dangerous.
The girls' minds raced. The harmless red figure, what they had initially thought was a ghost, now seemed innocent compared to the real threat lurking in the warehouse. Knowledge, not fear, became their first weapon.
We need to study the footage carefully, and maybe check folklore. If this red figure is what I think, it's probably harmless. But the news, someone could be watching, or worse, still inside the warehouse.
Then we prepare properly. No surprises next time.
The harmless spirit of folklore revealed itself on screen, but the shadow of human violence cast a far darker presence. Mika and Aya knew their next visit would need caution, observation, and careful planning. The next night, Mika and Aya returned near the abandoned warehouse. Police tape flapped in the cold wind, marking the area off limits. From a slight hill nearby, they had a vantage point, high enough to stay unseen. low enough to catch movements inside the building. Shadows stretched across the crates and debris, warped by the uneven roofline.
Okay, we can see inside from here. Don't get too close. Just focus.
Zoom in. Keep quiet. Let's just observe.
A small red figure darted between the crates. Its movement was sudden, almost gliding. Mika's eyes widened.
That umbrella, it's moving fast. Wait, could it attack?
Hold on. Watch. It's just skipping, not coming toward us.
Mika adjusted the camera. The little figure in red, tiny, playful, twirled a paper umbrella as it hopped between shadows. The faintest giggle echoed, mingling with the distant city noises. Relief washed over Mika as she realized it was the umbrella spirit, not a killer.
Okay, it's harmless. Just a spirit. I thought it might kill.
See? Playful, nothing dangerous.
As they continued recording, another movement caught Mika's eye. A shadow of a human, careful, sneaking along the far edge of the warehouse. Their hearts raced. The legend might be harmless, but someone, or something else, was present tonight.
Did you see that? Someone else? There's a person moving, not a spirit.
Let's keep distance record from here. Don't draw attention.
From their vantage point, they captured the umbrella spirit, dancing between the crates, playful and harmless. But the faint human shadow reminded them. The real danger wasn't always supernatural. Knowledge had eased their fear, but caution remained.
We've got the footage, proof of the spirit. But humans can be dangerous.
Next time, we stay ready. And never forget, not all threats are ghostly.
Back at home, Mika and Aya huddled over the laptop and stacks of old books. The camcorder footage played on the screen. The little red umbrella spirit hopping playfully, twirling between shadows. But the faint human silhouette lingered at the edge of the frame, almost unnoticed.
Look at it. It's just a kid-like spirit, isn't it? But why was there someone else there?
Let's check folklore records. Maybe there's something we missed about umbrella spirits.
They scoured books and online archives. Kasa-obake, a minor yokai, often depicted as an animated umbrella with one eye and a single leg. Mischievous but harmless, it sometimes startles people or knocks things over. Mika recalled the horror movie she had seen. The umbrella spirit had been portrayed as violent, killing anyone in its path. But the historical and folkloric records told a very different story. Playful, harmless, sometimes acting as a warning when danger was near. Local variations. If ignored, small accidents or misfortune may follow. If heeded, it acts as a guide.
So it's not here to hurt us. Movies lie. This is actually just a playful spirit? Maybe trying to warn us?
Yeah, see that? The human figure could be the real danger. The spirit was playful, but look how it moved, almost leading our eyes toward the threat.
The pieces fell into place. The umbrella spirit had appeared at the warehouse, not to attack, but to draw attention. Its playful movements, twirling, hopping, an unassuming way to highlight the lurking human danger.
It's a protector in its own way, like a guardian, trying to warn us without scaring us to death.
Then we follow its signs carefully. But humans are unpredictable.
Knowledge transformed fear into understanding. Mika and Agaya realized that not all legends are threats. Some are guides. The line between yokai mischief and real-world danger was thin. And tonight, the small red umbrella had reminded them of that delicate balance. That night, Mika and Aya did not return to the warehouse. They stayed home, lights on, curtains drawn, and replayed the footage again and again.
Pause it there. Rewind 5 seconds.
The footage showed the abandoned warehouse floor dark, cluttered. Then the umbrella spirit appeared, hopping briefly into frame. Harmless, almost playful. But behind it, something else moved.
Slow it down.
A human silhouette. Careful, intentional, not wandering, not lost.
He wasn't exploring. He knew exactly where to go.
Like he was retracing something.
Mika froze the frame. The figure stopped at a specific spot, the same corner mentioned in the news report. The same location where a body had been found days earlier.
He came back
to the scene.
They replayed the clip once more. The umbrella spirit appeared again, not attacking, not chasing, but positioning itself between the camera and the man, almost as if it wanted to be seen.
I watched those movies. They always make it look like the yokai kills. But the books never said that.
Then maybe it wasn't warning us about itself.
The umbrella spirit wasn't a threat. It was a signal. Something old. Something forgotten. Trying to draw attention to someone dangerous.
We can't ignore this.
We report it. Everything.
They gathered the footage. The timestamps. The location data. The clip where the man's movement became clear. Then Mika picked up her phone.
Hello? We'd like to report something related to the warehouse case.
That night, they learned something important. Not every yokai is a monster. Not every shadow is supernatural. Sometimes, the thing trying to warn you isn't the danger. If you saw something strange, would you look closer? A lady walks slowly into the empty hot spring. She glances down at the water. She relaxes slightly. Just a quiet night at the hot springs. Suddenly, a faint splash echoes across the water. She looks up. She notices a dark shadow moving in the corner. Or so she thought. A small, grotesque creature appears. It has greasy skin, tangled hair, one long tongue licking the edge of the tub. The lady steps back in terror. The sun had just dipped behind the mountains of Tohoku. Mika and Aya had spent the afternoon packing, chatting, and laughing on the train ride. Their friend, Yumi, had invited them to a local hot spring, a place known for its traditional wooden baths and serene views. Tonight was meant to be a break from investigations, a chance to relax.
I can't remember the last time I actually did nothing. This is going to be nice.
Yeah, no haunted schools, no weird shadows, just hot water and peace.
Don't get too relaxed, you two. Tohoku evenings can get chilly, and the steam will make you feel like ghosts floating around.
By the time they arrived at the small inn near the springs, lanterns glowed along the wooden pathways. The air smelled faintly of pine and heated stones. The warm light reflected off puddles from a recent rain, and steam rose in delicate curtains from the hot spring pools.
Look at the architecture. It's so old but somehow cozy.
Yeah, the beams are weathered, the wood smells earthy. I could spend hours just staring at it.
And you better. You'll regret missing the full moon's reflection in the water.
They changed into their yukata and made their way to the open bath area. The pools were mostly empty, just a few other guests scattered across the steaming waters. Laughter and conversation floated lightly through the air, but the far corner of the bath seemed quieter, darker, almost untouched.
Mikai, did you notice that corner over there? It looks different.
Yeah, it's just darker. Maybe the light doesn't reach fully. Nothing to worry about.
Actually, I heard something odd about this place earlier. Someone said that sometimes, late at night, there's been sightings of a man acting strangely near the pools.
A man like a ghost?
No, not a ghost. More like a person behaving strangely. Could be nothing, but I thought you two should know.
Well, even in hot water, we can't fully relax now, can we?
Mika and Aya exchanged a glance, curiosity sparking alongside unease. They had come for relaxation, yet the thought of someone lurking nearby, or perhaps something else, made their hearts beat a little faster. They stayed in the water, scanning the edges of the pool, whispering quietly. Steam rose from the warm water, curling lazily into the chilly mountain air. Mika and Aya leaned back, letting their muscles relax, while Yumi laughed softly from the edge of the pool, telling stories of childhood trips to the same onsen.
You know, when I was little, we'd play hide and seek here at night. Thought no one could ever see us.
Sounds fun. Definitely beats any creepy online story.
Yeah, though I'd rather not bump into someone sneaky in these mountains.
For a few moments, they enjoyed the normalcy. The warm water, the scent of pine, the distant rustle of leaves outside. Their laughter echoed softly off the wooden walls, and nothing seemed out of place.
By the way, someone mentioned seeing a strange man around here last week. Licking water spots? People were spooked. Thought it was a joke, but maybe be careful.
Licking water spots? Sounds gross, but maybe it's just some prankster.
Yeah, but it could also be someone trying something weird.
The girls exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time, the relaxed atmosphere felt fragile, as if the warm air carried an undercurrent of unease. Minutes passed. Near the edge of the pool, Mika noticed something unusual. Small, irregular wet patches slowly shifting across the stone floor.
Mika, look! The water, it's moving.
Someone must be there? A prankster? Maybe it's him.
Their eyes scanned the bathhouse, but the area appeared empty. Steam blurred their vision, and shadows stretched oddly across the floor. Each subtle movement of the wet patches seemed intentional, deliberate, too precise for water alone.
Don't rush. Let's watch a bit more. Maybe it's just someone hiding.
Feels like they're watching us. Or waiting.
They stayed still, careful not to call attention. Every small shift in the wet patches made their hearts beat faster. They whispered theories. Prankster, drunk hiker, someone lost. But nothing emerged from the steam or shadows.
All right, let's remember what we saw and check it later. If there's really someone, we can figure out how to handle it safely.
Yeah, just stay calm.
The patches moved slowly, almost taunting, but no figure appeared. The girls left the bathhouse with uneasy curiosity, knowing something unusual had occurred, but still assuming, for now, that it was human. Mika and Ayumi returned to the onsen. Sunlight filtered through the mountain trees, steam rising gently from the pools. Everything looked ordinary again, peaceful, even welcoming. Guests chatted softly nearby, towels were folded, water rippled lazily against stone.
Looks normal today.
Yeah, maybe we really overthought it.
See? I told you. It's probably nothing.
For a moment, Mika wondered if the night before had just been nerves. But as they settled near the edge of the bath area, Mika noticed something again. A thin, damp mark along the tiles. Not footprints. Not splashed water. Just a narrow trail, dragged slowly across the floor. The three of them watched in silence. Steam drifted past, briefly hiding the tiles, then revealing them again. The wet mark was longer now.
Was that there before?
No.
The mark moved, slowly, almost carefully. Not like someone walking. Not like water spreading.
Maybe someone's messing around?
But who would do that in public?
Then they saw it. A small shape, crouched low near the floor. Hunched. Awkward. Its movement was deliberate. Slow, unnatural. It leaned forward, tracing the wet surface.
Is that the guy people were talking about?
I don't think a human moves like that.
The figure paused. Its head tilted, just slightly. Then, without a sound, it slipped behind a wooden support beam and disappeared into the steam. They stayed frozen for a few seconds, hearts racing.
We didn't bring any equipment. This is supposed to be a vacation.
Let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe staff knows something.
Naya nodded and flagged down a nearby staff member. The uniformed attendant arrived calmly, scanning the area where they pointed. Only wet tiles remained.
I don't see anything unusual. Could be leftover moisture or a cleaning issue.
So there's no reports of someone sneaking around?
Not that I'm aware of. If you notice anything again, please let us know.
The staff member bowed politely and walked away. The bath returned to its gentle rhythm, but none of them relaxed. They finished their trip as planned. Meals, souvenirs, quiet walks through the mountain town. Laughter returned, but something lingered beneath it. That night, as they packed their bags, Mika stared at her phone.
It's weird. We came here to relax.
And instead, we keep thinking about the floor.
Guess some places don't like being ignored.
They shared a small laugh, but it faded quickly. Outside, the mountains of Tohoku stood silent in the dark, and somewhere, water continued to drip. Slowly, patiently. Back home, the trip did not feel complete. It had been meant as a vacation, not an investigation. And yet the images they carried back were heavier than expected. There was no footage, no photographs, and no clear evidence. Only the memory of movement on wet tiles, and the uncomfortable certainty that what they saw had not been human. Mika opened her laptop anyway, spreading her notes across the table. Aya sat beside her, towel-dried hair still smelling faintly of sulfur from the onsen. Both of them replaying the same scene in silence.
Even if we didn't record anything, we should still write this down properly. The details matter.
The way it moved, it didn't behave like a person trying to hide.
They began listing what they remembered, carefully and methodically. The damp streaks on the floor, the low crouched posture, the way the figure followed the wet marks instead of watching people, and how it vanished the moment staff arrived, leaving nothing behind except a sense of unease. Rather than searching through rumors or modern horror films, Mika turned to older sources, folklore databases, academic papers, and collections of regional yokai records. The atmosphere in the room shifted as illustrations appeared on the screen, drawn in faded ink, depicting hunched figures crouched close to the ground.
Stop there. That one, doesn't it look similar?
Mika scrolled back and began reading aloud.
Akaname, a yokai said to appear in dirty bathhouses, abandoned bathrooms, and neglected places where moisture and grime collect.
But it doesn't say it attacks people.
Aya hesitated. They continued reading, and with each paragraph, the tension they had carried from the onsen began to change shape. The descriptions were clear and consistent. Akaname was not a predator. It did not hunt, and it did not kill. It appeared quietly, avoided attention, and vanished when noticed. Mika frowned slightly.
The violent versions, those, came much later. Movies changed it.
So what we saw wasn't something aggressive.
They returned to their notes, reading through the descriptions again, this time with different eyes. The figure had never approached them. It had never reacted to their presence. Instead, it remained close to the floor, moving slowly along the damp areas, as if following something only it could perceive.
It didn't feel like we were being watched.
It felt like we were just there.
The realization was unsettling in a different way. If the yokai had not been reacting to them, then its appearance had not been caused by their presence at all. But it appeared because something about that place had drawn it there long before they arrived. According to older records, Akaname was often described not as a threat, but as a sign, a manifestation that appeared where something had been left unclean for too long, whether physically or symbolically. It was not there to punish, but to reveal neglect, an uncomfortable reminder rather than a danger.
So maybe it wasn't the problem.
Mika stared at the screen, her voice steady but quieter.
Maybe it was pointing at one.
Neither of them needed to say more. The implication was clear. Sometimes, the thing that frightens people most is not the monster itself, but what its presence suggests. That night, Mika saved their notes, not as evidence, and not as a conclusion, but as a record of uncertainty. Some stories do not end with answers, and some encounters are not meant to be confronted or captured. In folklore, not every yokai exists to harm, and not every fear deserves to be chased away. Sometimes, the most unsettling realization is this: the thing we thought was watching us may never have been the danger at all.
This was supposed to be a break, not an episode.
Yeah, and we didn't even bring proper equipment.
They reviewed their notes one last time. No footage to upload. No dramatic proof to show. Just a story that refused to become a spectacle. And for once, they decided that was enough.
Maybe not everything needs to be chased.
Or filmed.
Akaname does not announce itself. It does not seek attention, and when watched too closely, it disappears. Perhaps that is why it has survived so long in stories. What would you do if you noticed something strange in a place meant for rest and comfort? Would you investigate further or let it fade into memory? Mika and Aya across from each other at a small cafe on the edge of town. Steam rose from their cups of coffee, and the murmur of other patrons filled the air. They had planned this trip as a weekend getaway. But even here, the quiet hum of conversation made them alert.
It's nice to finally relax for a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, no cameras, no ghosts, just coffee.
From the next table, two men spoke in low voices, glancing occasionally at a crumpled notebook between them.
The old factory at the edge of town? People say it's haunted, hands moving on their own, searching for someone who did wrong.
Yeah, I heard a guy got hurt there years ago. Some kind of accident, or maybe not an accident. Weird things happen at night, they say.
Mika and Aya exchanged a quick look. Their curiosity was piqued, though the words sounded like nothing more than local gossip.
Did you hear that? Hands moving, looking for someone?
Could be just superstition or maybe some pranksters, but it's weird.
They finished their coffee, glancing once more toward the old factory visible through the cafe window. Something about the conversation lingered in their minds.
Let's check it out tomorrow. Just see what's there.
Okay, but we stay safe. No rushing in.
And so, a simple cafe chat set the stage for an investigation that would take them into the abandoned factory, and into the shadows of a story far older and stranger than they could imagine. The next afternoon, Mika and Aya arrived at the edge of town. The abandoned factory loomed large, its windows broken and dark, rust creeping along metal siding. Cracked pavement and scattered debris made every step echo. The air smelled faintly of damp concrete and old machinery.
Looks even creepier in person.
Yeah, but let's stick to the edges. We don't know what's inside yet.
They carefully stepped over weeds and rubble, moving along the perimeter where sunlight barely reached the walls. Every shadow, every shift of light made them tense. Suddenly, a small movement caught their eyes. Across the concrete floor, something low to the ground appeared to shift. At first, they thought it was just an animal, or maybe a trespasser, but its motion was deliberate, almost searching.
Did you see that? Someone or something is moving down there.
It's low to the ground. Could it be a person crawling or not?
The shadow paused, then slid behind a pillar. Their view was fleeting, unclear. Dust swirled in the sunlight as if disturbed by the unseen figure. They crouched behind a stack of crates, trying to glimpse more without revealing themselves. The movement reappeared briefly. A hunched form, its motion jerky and unnatural, unlike anything they had seen before.
I can't tell. Is it a person?
No, doesn't move like anyone I've seen. Maybe just shadows or some debris shifting?
The figure paused again, then vanished behind another corner. Mika and Aya exchanged uneasy glances, hearts beating faster. They had caught only brief glimpses, just enough to know something strange lingered inside. Deciding not to push further, they stepped back along the factory's edge. From a distance, the building seemed almost alive, shadows stretching unnaturally along the walls. They had no cameras set up this afternoon, and the footage was minimal, mostly shifting shapes and fleeting shadows.
Maybe we need better angles or some equipment next time.
Or maybe we just leave it alone for now. We don't know what it is.
Even as they walked away, the image of the hunched figure stayed with them. Something was there. Something watching. When the sunlight faded, they couldn't shake the feeling that the abandoned factory had more secrets waiting in the shadows. That evening, Mika and Aya returned to the abandoned factory. The sky was dark, clouds drifting across a pale moon. Their flashlights cut through the gloom, illuminating rusted beams and broken machinery. Every sound, creaking metal, distant dripping water, made them pause.
Let's keep it slow. Don't make any sudden moves.
Right. If it's human, we don't want to startle them. If not...
They stayed along the edges where the factory floor sloped slightly, giving a partial view inside without stepping into the open. Shadows danced across the walls, shifting with every gust of wind. A movement caught their eyes. A hunched figure crawled low across the concrete, but something was off. Its hands glinted in the moonlight. There were eyes on its palms, shifting and scanning the area.
What is that? Is that eyes on its hands?
It doesn't look human. It moves so strangely.
The figure paused, glancing in their direction. For a moment, the shadows hid it completely, then revealed a full view of a pale, distorted face. No eyes on its head, only on the hands it used to crawl forward. Mika raised her camera, zooming in. The Tenome's hands moved independently, scanning the floor, tapping metal surfaces, dragging along the ground. The body followed slowly, almost like the hands were leading it.
This is incredible. We actually found it.
Don't get too close, and I feel like it's watching everything.
Each step was deliberate, the hands moving first, the body following. Shadows stretched unnaturally behind it, and every metallic clang echoed ominously across the empty factory floor. Suddenly, the Tenome paused and retreated behind a pile of crates. When they looked again, only a pair of eyes on a hand peeked around the edge. Then, even that vanished. The body had disappeared, leaving only silence and a faint chill in the air.
It just left, or disappeared.
I think it knew we were here, but didn't want to harm us.
The girls stepped back, hearts racing. They had captured fleeting images, shadows, and glimpses of the Tenome's eyes on its hands. But the mystery remained. Why was it here? And why hadn't it attacked?
We need to research it, figure out what it wants.
And maybe next time, we can set up proper cameras. We need to see the whole body.
Tonight, they witnessed something beyond human. The Tenome had revealed itself partially, testing the boundaries, and as they walked back through the shadowed perimeter, they couldn't shake the feeling that this creature, strange and vigilant, might choose to appear again, on its own terms. After returning home, Mika and Aya couldn't stop thinking about the abandoned factory. They searched online, scanning local news archives.
Here it says that 10 years ago, there was a serious industrial accident here. A worker was trapped under heavy machinery. Some say the company ignored safety regulations.
Back at home, Mika and Aya reviewed their photos and notes from the abandoned factory. The Tenome had vanished, but the memory of its movements lingered. They wanted to understand what they had seen.
I've never seen anything like this. Hands moving, dragging the body, those eyes on the palms.
Yeah, but why? Why appear here and then vanish?
They scoured books, folklore collections, and online archives. The Tenome, or hand-eye, appeared in Edo period stories. His face had no eyes, but eyes grew on its hands. By night, it wandered, seeking out wrongdoers or those who had caused harm.
The Tenome appears to punish those who commit evil. Its hands see where the eyes cannot. The body follows like a shadow of justice. Fascinating.
So, it's not a random threat? It targets wrongdoers?
The texts describe the creature's eerie motion, hands leading the way, the body dragging behind, 3 limbs twitching like spider legs. It observed silently, moving deliberately and cautiously.
That explains what we saw. The hands moved first, dragging the rest of the body, terrifying, but not malicious toward ordinary people.
So it's like a ghostly guardian, not evil, just vigilant.
The old factory had a dark past. Decades ago, workers suffered accidents. Some unjust, some ignored by management. The girls realized the Takeranome might linger here because of that history, bound by injustice, silently observing the present.
It doesn't attack us, maybe it's testing, or just watching.
Knowledge changes fear. Now we understand why it's here.
The Takeranome revealed only what it chose.
Not all monsters are malevolent. Some exist to watch, to ensure wrongs are remembered, to act when justice is needed.
We can document this, but we must respect it, record carefully, observe, and never provoke.
And maybe next time, it will appear for a reason we can finally understand.
As night fell, Mika and Aya reviewed their notes and sketches from the warehouse. The Tenome had vanished, leaving only the memory of its eerie movements and the weight of its gaze.
I can't stop thinking about that hand, the way it led, dragging the rest of its body behind. It was frightening, but it wasn't malicious toward us.
Yeah, it makes you realize not every ghost or monster is evil. Some just exist to watch, to balance the wrongs left behind.
They reflected on the warehouse's history, the accidents, the unfair deaths, the injustices that may have bound this creature here. The Tenome, a hand-eye monster of legend, seemed to linger not out of hatred, but to observe, to bear witness.
We need to respect it, record carefully, study, but never provoke. Knowledge keeps us safe.
And maybe one day, it will appear for the right reason, and we'll understand more.
The Tenome watches silently, a shadowy guardian of forgotten wrongs. Would you dare wander into a place where unseen eyes are waiting? Subscribe to Whispers Beyond Archives, and join Mika and Aya as they continue exploring Japan's hidden spirits and urban legends. Share your own encounters below. What would you do if you saw a hand that could see more than you ever could? The night ends, but the legends remain. The Tenome vanished back into the shadows of the abandoned factory. The Akaname retreated to the steamy corners of the bathhouse, leaving only faint footprints and the lingering scent of damp fear. The Karakasa-kozō bounced away down the empty streets, leaving behind only the echo of laughter and the sense that the ordinary world is never quite safe.
Our explorers survived, but only by inches. They saw, they heard, they felt what most would dismiss as myth, and yet the legends are real. Somewhere in Japan, in a factory, a bathhouse, or a rainy alley, a yokai waits, watching, lurking, patient. Would you dare to walk in their world? Like if you want to uncover more hidden yokai. Subscribe for Spirits of Japan, revealed every week.